All right. Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Oops, I got to check my mic. Stand by. That should be better. That should be better. Hopefully, you can hear me okay now. Hey, everybody in chat. Nice to see you all again. It is a quick, impromptu stream, but we had to do it. There's ship news to talk about. How's everybody else doing today? Hopefully, well. Hopefully, well. This is, like I said, a bit of an impromptu stream today. This is one that I didn't totally know I was going to do, but doing it now. We have some ship news to talk about, and what better place to do that than Starjump Shipyard, of course, which means we got to get our Shipyard logo up. There it is. All right, Rusty Pigeon, hello everyone in chat. Nice to see you all. Thanks for hanging out today. Again, it wasn't much notice for this one, so appreciate it. Let's go ahead and jump right into a few things. Obviously, want to remind everyone about Quantum Vegas. This is still coming up really quick. Would love to meet you all there. For those that are attending, definitely try to get in on this if you can. Tickets are currently on sale. There's going to be CIG employees. It's going to be amazing. Taking place July 12th, Saturday, Area 15 in Las Vegas. Get your tickets while you can. There's some great deals to get to. Vegas and hotel rooms and flights and all that stuff right now. So you want to make sure you try to do that if you can. We just said North just subscribed for 4 months in a row. Thank you very much, North. Appreciate that. I know you've been hanging out with us for a long time now, so thank you very, very much for that. Real quick, if you're over on YouTube, by the way, I am pinning a link to the top of chat. We'll talk about that in just a second. But anyways, yes, it's going to be a great event. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, there's going to be some great people there. Paul Shelley, the Astro Historian, EE Studios, Nate and his wife Kim, DePoet, Serious Fun, Griffin Gaming, Commander Fran. We're going to have Sean Tracy from CIG, Galactica, Tyler Whitken, of course, Nick at Night, and yours truly. They're all doing panels, all doing community interaction stuff. I'm going to be giving away some Fleet Viewer liveries and some other fun stuff. So try to catch that if you can. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go to our Tiltify raffle or St. Jude stuff real quick if we can. Do not forget, everyone, we are doing the St. Jude Play Live event right now. It's been incredibly successful. I know you all know that. Rooster Rage kicking it off with a $10 donation for a new toy for St. Jude. Thank you very much, Rooster. Incredible amount of donations, everyone. So thank you very much. We're at $14,490 raised with $30,933 a lifetime. Maybe we'll get that $31,000 today. But regardless, it's been an incredibly successful event. Big thanks to everyone in chat for helping out with that. Seriously, it's truly appreciated. I am going to bring up the raffle schedule right now. This is a little out of date. Again, this was a quick stream today, so I couldn't get everything ready. The Anvil Hurricane and the Nomad Love Struck Starter Pack have officially been given away. Those are given away on the 3rd and the 6th, but we still have 3 raffles currently going on. One is for the Aegis Gladius Valiant. We'll be giving that away tomorrow, May 9th. There's a $10 donation till Tiltify link will get you a ticket for that ship. Next, we have an Anvil Carrack with LTI. It's a $50 donation to our Tiltify link that is given away on May 15th. And then, of course, last but not least, we have an RSI Polaris Corvette, which we're going to see a little bit, I believe, in this video. With LTI, that is a $100 donation towards the St. Jude Tiltify link pinned in chat and showing up in chat via Stream Elements. Go that and click RSI Polaris Corvette, do your $100 donation, and boom, you have a ticket for that. We'll give that away on May 30th. Okay, so coming up pretty quick. And what better surprise for Invictus than a new Polaris landing in your hangar? So really, really cool. Want to do as I always do, a big shout out to our prize donators over the last little bit here. GearCon, Bingo Winchester, Lazy Donuts, and James from Icon City. Thank you very much for that follow, Official Katie. Thank you very much. Salute to you for sending the javelin overhead. Appreciate that. But yes, so big thanks to these donators. They've all donated ships, stream decks, and other things. And starter packs. We really appreciate it. Really appreciate our prize donators. It's a big deal. It's a big part of how we can bring in this money for St. Jude and the kids. So big shout out. I think we have Bingo and GearCon in chat. Not sure if Lazy's in chat, but make sure you give them the all salute the double salute, however you want to do it, to thank them for that. Really, really appreciated. Got quite a few people tuning in, so this is really great. Got about 91 over on YouTube and about 28 on Twitch, so we're going to get into it here, folks. We are talking about new ship reveals, okay? And we're going to get into that. I do have a few things I can pop up here. I'll go ahead and throw this up, but obviously we're going to watch the video. We're talking about new ships here, primarily focusing on 3, okay? You can see them right here in your frame. We have the Starlancer TAC in the middle, the Greycat MTC, and the Guardian MX. We're also going to talk about this little beauty here, which is the Anvil Asgard. We're going to talk a little bit about this. If you watched my my analyzation of my analysis, Sako Guru with the $10 new toy for St. Jude donation. Thank you very much, Sako. Appreciate that. But if you watched my Invictus Launch Week teaser analysis video stream the other day, we pretty much nailed what the Asgard is, like almost to a T, 1-to-1. We were exactly right. So nice job, chat. I think we nailed this one. We're going to go ahead and get into the video, though, so we got a lot of ships to cover. Let's go ahead and kick it off. We're going to watch it together. It's 14 minutes. I might pause here or there. Hopefully you had it. And we're just going to see what this is.
I like making missions because it's an intellectual challenge and it's a creative challenge. I like playing through the content and seeing things through a player's eyes and trying to craft an experience.
Do you think players like missions?
I hope players like missions. In Alpha 411, we are going to be dropping about
So obviously we're talking about new
60
missions.
New missions. And it's going to be our biggest drop since 4.0. Let's start with our big headliner, Hunt the Polaris.
Hunt the Polaris.
Hunt the Polaris is a mission where the Frontier Fighters have stolen a UEE
Oh,
Polaris.
we got to pause it for that, everyone. Rage 1 just kicked the door down with a $160 donation to the Aegis Gladius Valiant. Rage 1, thank you very much. You've been an absolute monster with your donations so far. Really appreciate that. Salute to you, my good friend. Starjump Starlet also in chat. Everyone give Starlet a hello if you would, please. Here we go. Continuing on.
Which was bound for Invictus, and they're trying to escape.
Thank you, Rage.
And get it back to pirates. Your job is to stop them.
We can't let them get away.
In order to stop them, you are chasing them around Stanton. You have to search for them, you have to ambush them, you have to defend other ships from them as well as they continue on their path to Pyro.
When you encounter the Polaris, it won't be alone. It will have some Frontier Fighter friends as backup.
Let's get the hell out of here.
What's really cool about this mission is you don't even have to do it alone.
The Polaris quantumed away.
The UE have sent their own guys as well. And there's a hammerhead that, if you keep alive, will help keep you alive too. I think it'll be a really good test of just how strong your friends are, and yourself too.
Next, there are 12 different patrol contracts split between Headhunters and Foxwell.
Foxwell being the faction that gives you the legal version of these missions, and Headhunters will give you the illegal version.
Foxwell Enforcement, they've hit hard times, so their background checks and whoever they hire is a bit more loosey-goosey.
Headhunters are now operating for the first time in Stanton. The
Headhunters are in Stanton now?
want you to patrol an area of space that they consider their own and make sure their interests are allowed to operate safely.
The patrol missions in 411 are a little different than our standard missions. We wanted a mission that was not linear. You will go to a point throughout space, and it will randomly generate between our pool of current objectives. Currently, there's 4 objectives that it can generate between. So you'll go to point number 1. It will pick between one of those 4 objectives for you to complete. Once you complete it, it will send you to another point in space where it will generate another objective, and so on until you've completed 3 points.
Scans are showing outlaws inbound.
Objective 1 is a traditional kill all the ships that appear. That doesn't really require any more explanation. Objective 2 is protect a ship that's under attack from the bad guys.
That's the new, yeah.
Is a new objective called.
So that's the new Anvil Asgard there that we're seeing, everyone. Let's back up just a little bit here. If you remember, we talked about the Anvil Asgard having the 2 Anvil thrusters mounted on the wings, pulling that away from the body so that they can widen that back. Essentially, that back is going to be widened and probably deepened or raised up on the y-axis so that it can fit bigger vehicles, essentially.
In 411 are a little different than our standard missions. We wanted a mission that was not linear. You will go to a point throughout space,
You
and
can
it will
see
randomly generate between standard missions.
right here.
We wanted a mission that was not linear. You will go.
You can see right here, it says Asgard. I guess they spell it like that. That's interesting. I need to take a picture of that. That's interesting. Asgard spelled a little differently than I thought, but there we go.
Go to a point throughout space, and it will randomly generate between our pool of current.
You can see a rather large missile turret on the top here. I still see some sort of side door. This area does look a little thicker and bigger back here. Obviously, here's our 2 engines raised up. Again, we nailed that from the what do you call it? The teaser trailer. Yeah. Bunker, I was just spelling it wrong. I was spelling it Asguard. So I guess I was spelling it wrong. But yeah, it's a unique turret on top there. That's kind of interesting. I still think this is designed around carrying heavy, like bigger vehicles. You know.
Objectives. Currently, there's 4 objectives that it can generate between. So you'll go to point number 1. It will pick between.
Yeah, you can see there, engines pushed out to the side. Possibly another engine there underneath those smaller nacelle wings out here. That's kind of, or nope, that's just the front thruster. That's just a front thruster. A lot of the rest remains kind of the same. Obviously, big turret up top here, missile turret it looks like.
In one of those 4 objectives for you to complete.
Got a little bit of a prowler look, yep.
It will send you to another point in space where it will generate another objective, and so on until you've completed 3 points.
Scans are showing outlaws inbound.
Objective 1 is a traditional kill.
Let's go back. Let me back up just a tad here. What can we tell?
Generate another objective, and so on until you've completed 3 points.
Scans are showing.
So I see 4 Panthers on the guns all tab. Can't see a lot else.
Outlaws inbound.
Objective 1 is a traditional kill all the ships that appear. That doesn't really require any more explanation. Objective 2 is protect a ship that's under attack from the bad guys. Objective 3 is a new objective called search and destroy. And objective 4 is what we're calling the empty objective.
Not seeing anything.
Where you show up and actually nothing happens. I have to say that so people don't think it's a bug. Search and destroy is a new objective that we've created. We wanted an objective that was less heavy on combat.
The player will go to the location and they'll receive a certain number of areas to
Guardian
discover.
MX.
It's up to the player to go there and ping and scan with their ship scanners and discover what's going to happen. The player may discover friendly probe, that's one of the UEEs. You're just going there to make sure it's all operational.
Everything is in order.
Or you may discover that there's a hostile one. It's been hacked by another organization and you're there to destroy it.
Be right back, everyone.
The satellite's been hacked by outlaws. We We're gonna have to take it out.
In some cases, if you destroy it, then the people who own the satellite won't be very happy with you, so they'll QT in and start attacking you.
Target destroyed.
We're hoping that if this mission goes over well, we can slowly add to that pool to make Patrol a sort of mission that will continue to expand upon until we have, say, 15 or 20 random objectives that can trigger. But really, we're only going to do that if you guys like it, so let us know how you feel.
I'm Lucas Baransko, but my students call me Gilly.
Longtime players might remember Gilly from the...
If this mission goes over well,
I'm going to back it up just a tad, everyone. I don't totally know
May
what
discover friendly probe. That's
what the point of the Guardian is yet. Actually, it's a good question.
may discover that there's a hostile one. It's been hacked by another organization, and you're there to destroy it.
Seems this satellite's been hacked by outlaws. We're gonna have to take it out.
In some cases, if you destroy it, then the people who own the satellite won't be very happy with you, so they'll QT in and start attacking you.
Target destroyed.
We're hoping that if this mission goes over well, we can slowly add to that pool to make Patrol a sort of mission that will continue to expand upon until we have, say, 15 or 20 random objectives that can trigger. But really, we're only going to do that if you guys like it, so let us know how you feel.
I'm Lucas Baransko, but my students call me Gilly.
Longtime players might remember
Oops, sorry.
Gilly from the tutorial from way back in the day. Gilly is a very experienced combat veteran. It was really good to have him in the game the first time round.
Gilly also appears in 3 new Invictus training exercises, where you'll be able to be shown what a patrol mission could be like.
Prepare to engage.
This is not a tutorial, but it is a series of increasingly difficult combat scenarios.
Let me pause real quick here. I'm going to bring Execute over. Hey, Execute.
Hey, bud.
Once again, you're waking up to ship news.
Everyone, always. But no, I finished mission myself. It's pretty good.
Yeah, we're about halfway through watching it. It's obviously mostly on missions and stuff, but they are highlighting the new ships. So we're just gonna finish watching the last 10 minutes and then talk about
go
this.
for it.
Cool.
These 3 missions are so that the player can feel like they're part of the UEE, so that they can get a taste of what it's like to be part of the organization that protects Stanton.
Congrats on completing another part of your course.
These are just here while the Invictus event is on to add a little bit more flavor.
There are also now 12 new ambush contracts, also split between Foxwell and Headhunters.
An ambush mission is where you lie in wait for your target to appear before striking them fast and hard.
So it's a mission for...
No, for tactical masterminds. So Foxwell is giving these ambush missions because they are being paid by outside contractors to take down dangerous individuals around the Stanton and Pyro systems, which are causing trouble for their clients.
Nice. Done.
And Handhunters, well, they just ambush anyone. They want stuff.
When you get to the ambush location, you will be asked to hide inside a new high emission zone.
Which means that the enemy can't detect you when they jump in. So first there's a wave of scouts that shows up, and they're going to scan for their valuable transport to arrive on time. And since they don't detect you, they give the all clear. The target arrives, and that's the moment you jump out of the high emission zone, which will make you appear on radar, but it's too late for them to escape, and that's when you take down the cargo hauler. I'm really excited about these missions because the high mission zones will unlock further options for anyone to make really cool missions, both PvE and PvP related.
Many of these new missions have a chance to spawn an ace pilot.
Scans just picked up a ship that we've tagged as extremely dangerous.
They are either aligned with the Headhunters or the UEE. You won't always know when they're going to arrive. So they will always be a sort of rogue variable inside those missions that you'll have to deal with.
Talking about their skill level.
Oh yeah, their skills crank. I can't crank it any harder. So I think the skilled is definitely their name.
Definitely interesting the missions they're bringing to
And
Stanton.
if you are lucky enough to be able to take him out,
Well, I've been
can
playing a lot of
use
these
corpse,
because I've been on
and he
PTUs, so
will
Yeah.
have some
yeah,
considerable
they're,
amount
they're,
of
they're different.
on him.
Yeah, the hide mission especially I think is pretty interesting just because it brings us a little bit of a new kind of strategy.
One script for Council and one script for the Mercenary Guild. And you can use them as currency for collector missions.
I know some people in chat are pointing out the ATLS IKT1 or IKTI, whatever it's called, which is the gunned variant. We're going to talk about it. We got a new screenshot of it. This is something all of us, me and Execute, have talked about in the past. It's also something I've talked about recently as being, if you remember, that VMXEO pulled the model from the game files, and the model was actually quite a bit more polished than I would have expected from just an April Fool's joke. Not to say that it wasn't that at the time, but the model had like a lot of like little details and stuff added to it that if an artist was going to bang it out for just one joke on one day, I don't think they would have done. So yeah, we'll go over that for sure.
Well, there is something that I know you're going to want to go over. Have you watched this right through yourself?
No, not yet.
I'll call it when it happens, or
Okay.
you tell me when you see it. I won't say
Okay.
anything. I'll let you pick it on your own.
Sounds good.
Look
We're a little more than halfway through now, so we'll
keep going.
He really, really wants these guild scripts.
I'll give you a clue. It's yellow.
Okay.
I'll say that. Then you'll know what I'm talking
Part
about
of
when you see it.
Invictus, we are adding our very first ones as a kind of scavenger hunt around the halls. We're also giving them away as mission rewards for the new combat missions. So there will be even more ways to get those new collector ships. Oh, there's also new collector ships this patch, but I don't know what they are.
I do.
Of course, it wouldn't be Invictus without visiting the Invictus halls.
This year's Invictus launch week returns to Area 18.
Talking about Invictus now.
As you're in the shuttle and approaching the Battle Convention Center, you get met with the new slogan of this year's Invictus. As you walk out of the shuttle, we walk into the lobby and we take the elevator down. We get met with the beautiful hologram of the mighty Idris itself. As
See
we're
Idris
walking
P
further
there
into
on the
halls,
hologram.
You'll be able to find all the new ships for this year's Invictus.
Foreshadowing.
Yep.
We can see that this year's Invictus looks a little bit different than what we're used to. This year Invictus will not feature different daily
that armor's
layouts,
cool.
but instead has a better, well-crafted layout for the entire duration of
I reckon they're going to
Invictus.
sell it though in the store.
Yeah.
We can see that there's extra care being taken in the presentation of the ships. This really shows the might of the UEE. At the entrance of the halls, we can
There's our initial 3 ships being revealed there. The MTC, Guardian MX, and Starlancer Attack. Probably the worst kept secrets ever, but there they are. Let's continue on.
see the rental kiosks. This is where you'll this year be able to rent the various ships. Make sure to return to these kiosks as they are on a daily/bi-daily rotation. Invictus this year is not just about ships, but it's about the way that you customize your ships, how you create your own experience with your
Light
vehicles,
blades.
and how you truly make your vehicles your own. So let's check out the Idris tour at Area 18 Central. As you walk and you look up, you can already see that the Idris is hanging straight above. We'll go towards the IO North Tower and take the elevators up. As we continue over the platform, we get met with...
Come on, you
the
should have
Idris itself.
realized by now.
Please take some time to explore.
What did I miss?
Go back.
Where am I going back? Where am I going back to?
The Idris is yellow. It's not the same texture. They changed it all.
Let me check it again here.
with
Let's
your
check it
vehicles.
again.
And how you truly make your
I
vehicles.
Guys, you're
was,
so fucking slow.
I was not paying attention
So let's
apparently.
check out the Idris tour at Area 18 Central. As you walk and you look
Yellow
up,
and
you can
blue.
already see that the
I could
Idris is
detail my
hanging
ass.
straight above.
I just thought it was the yellow light
We'll
hitting
go
it.
towards the
Oh, yeah,
Iron Lord
yeah, I
Tower
can see
and
that,
take the
yeah.
elevators up. As we continue
That's the Idris
over
P.
the platform, we get met with the Idris itself.
You reckon
Please
it's the
take
light?
your
No,
time
you
to
could be right.
explore.
You could be right, actually, now I think about it. But it looks yellow to me.
It
I'm
could be
super
that
excited
warm
about
light.
Invictus this year. I think we've done something
Let's see.
a little bit unexpected.
New
I think
torpedoes there
the
as
way
well.
that Everything came
The 3 new
together really
torpedoes.
clicked this year.
Just to confirm, everyone, that is the kind of the Idris model we've known for a long time. Obviously, this is not the new one, but keep going. Yeah, it's hard to tell. It could be yellow. It is hard to tell.
I'm
This
being
looks
told
yellow.
I'm being told by someone that's watching your stream from CIG that I'm right. That
Okay.
it's yellow.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So different texture, which would make sense because, like I pointed out on that other texture had some rough areas to it.
Yeah.
We'll continue. All right, here we go.
I hope that the players.
I'm excited
will
for this. This
also
will be the first
see
Invictus
care
I'll be
love
here
that
the
we
whole
put
time.
Into making this year's Invictus special.
We did not see. I'm back up a little bit.
As we
We did
continue
not
over
see
the
any of the
platform,
K-Kit
we
materials
get met
here
with
on display. I
the
saw.
Idris
Well, there's a
itself.
missile turret they showed. Is that part of the K-Kit?
Not too sure.
This one here. I'm
Are they-
pausing on it now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read what it says down there on the sign. It's a little hard to read, but does everyone is chat saying missile turret from the K kit? That's what people are saying in chat. So maybe they're
Yes.
kind of showing it off. Read above, Antonio. Yeah.
I'm getting told to tell you from someone at CIG that everybody at CIG loves your feet viewer.
Oh, tell them thank you. I appreciate it. I was a little
don't
worried.
Sure you can hear you.
Well, I'll tell you this. I was a little worried the other day because there's some changes to the ship pages on the RSI website, which nice job on that, CIG. It did need to be updated, so great job. But you couldn't access the CTM, the HoloViewer model anymore, until I put someone much smarter about that stuff than me on there, VMXEO, and he solved it in about 3 minutes. So we do have Holo model access again, everyone. They just changed the way it's loaded onto the site. So, yes, tell CIG thank you very much. Hopefully they enjoy it. Here we go. Let's continue on. We're looking at the Idris K kit on display there with the Idris P. We'll keep moving along here. We're almost.
You got those. The very next thing it says those torpedoes too.
Yeah.
3 new torpedoes going in.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm imagining those are the ones we've been hearing about, right? The IR.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we've done something a little bit unexpected. I think the way that everything came together really clicked this year. I hope that the players will also see the care and love that we put into making this year's Invictus special.
Here's one thing I'll say about CIG, and I think we got one more part to watch here, but I'll say this. One thing they do better than any game company I think I've ever seen is the way in which they bring some of the out-of-game stuff into game and the way they sort of dress it up to build excitement, whether you're buying a ship or not. Like, let's say you're not pledging for anything, for Invictus this year. You can still go, you can still experience it, you can still check it out, you still get to kind of like enjoy the event, even if you're not purchasing. Iggy, thank you for that follow, appreciate it. Send in the old javelin overhead. Let's
I
watch
wonder if they'll ever get to the point where you can actually purchase a ship in game and it pays it off the website. Do you know what I mean? Or even adds it to the card on the website.
I'm hoping so. I would love to see a little bit more integration there. I mean, we know that they're wanting to do that. Even the party chat system that I think is coming with 4.1.1 has some of that. And we've heard more integration between the website and the in-game stuff. So hopefully that'd be cool. I think we got like 3 more minutes. We'll watch this and then we'll talk about new ships.
Did you see what they're saying in chat?
Oh, sorry. What
the sign says the might of the military might in your hangar.
Interesting. Oh yeah, I see. Sorry, Antonio. Thanks for pointing that out. The might of the military in your hangar, please, CIG. Well, I mean, yeah, we've talked a lot about this. We've talked a lot about is the Idris going to land in hangars?
Interesting.
Here's my only thing about that before we continue on.
Mhm.
I saw someone that, we have the Idris P shirt that's a subscriber flare, and I saw someone say, oh, the Idris P's coming or whatever. My only issue there, though, is that if CIG was to release only the Idris P or even the Idris P with the K kit, that's not going to work. They've got to do the M as well. Thank you very much, Rooster, for that $10 donation to St. Jude. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. They've got to release all three, or they're just going to cause an epic meltdown of epic proportions. You know what I mean? They either have to release all three or none.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have 3 more minutes here, everyone. We're going to continue on. Again, big thanks to everybody. We're doing fantastic on the St. Jude fundraising. We're at $14,670 for the month of April and a little bit of May here. We just crossed $31,000 for our lifetime raised over the last 2 years. $31,113. That's enough to buy a few javelins, everybody. All right, here we go. We're going to finish this video off, and then we'll talk about the 3 ships and kind of give our thoughts on it. The Polaris is still a beautiful ship, man.
Overall,
God.
411.
Well, they
is
upgraded the
a
fuck out of those
big
guns.
suite
Yeah.
Of ship combat content.
I really want to talk
It's
about
been a
that
little while
too.
Since
Anyway,
we've
I'll wait
gotten
until you
to
finish.
do something like this. We've heard some of the criticism that sometimes we're FPS citizen, and we hope this goes some way to help address it.
How do you feel having this patch sit on your shoulders?
I think it's a lot of pressure, but it's also very, very motivating. There's a lot of work to do, but we know we can do it. Just got to get it done.
There's the Ares Inferno, one of my favorite ships, everybody.
And as you can see, this year's Invictus is going to operate just a little
Right, listen
differently
here.
than years before.
Okay.
Now, in addition to the more than 60 new mission contracts being added to Alpha 411, there's also a new way to earn secondary currency for Wicklow and, in the future, his guild brethren, new ace pilots to test the mettle of our greatest flyers, and then, of course, our first tour of the Idris Peacekeeper and a more robust convention center than ever before. One that loses the rotating inventory to highlight all the ships arriving at this year's event simultaneously. There's also those new flight blades y'all have been talking about online, and even some weapon and item packs that'll let you breathe new life into existing vehicles like never before. You can learn all about that stuff on the robertspaceindustries.com website as the event starts proper on May 15th. And then it continues to cycle through all of our manufacturers every 2 days until the end of the event. That part stays the same. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the people and process of game development with you, and we'll start learning about the last 4 vehicles making their debut at this year's event next week. And then the week after. It's a 2-week thing.
Do we have something after the fact here?
Later.
Let's see.
Oh, and before I forget, the ISC team is hiring. We're looking for 2 more of the game capture folks. You know, those people that make the B-roll and stuff. You get to work in the most broken builds imaginable for like weeks
bit
before you
used to
become
be
in, and they're on NDA. So, and then you have to try to make unfinished stuff look great. It's legit some of the hardest work that we've got. But boy, is it cool and fun, and you get to work with some of the best people. Not me, but others. You know, you can find the listing at cloudimperiumgames.com/jobs. Hopefully it's right there at the bottom.
There you go. Need a job
So-
at CIG? There you go.
So I don't know if you missed it in what Jared said in the first section.
Yeah.
But you can go back and watch it if you want. But what he says, right, is so what was the video that came out last week?
That was on the TAC. Starlink's
Right?
attack,
And he
yeah.
said over the next 2 weeks, you will learn about the last 4 vehicles.
Right.
Now, I have 4 vehicles written down, but now you cross out the TAC because we have a video about that.
Yeah.
That's 1, 2, 3. And what could 4 be?
Yeah, that's interesting. That leaves open a big. There's
big
2
clad,
possibilities for
a
me.
big iron-like clad thing. I wonder what
yeah.
it could be.
There's to me, there's 3 options actually on what that 4th one could be. Okay.
Okay.
Here's mine. First would be the Ironclad, and what I hope it is, because as you well know, I'm a big Drake fan. I'm sure all of chat
it could be
knows.
the Idris. Sorry, people in
Yep.
chat are saying Idris.
So
yeah,
the
it could be
second
Idris,
one,
technically.
would be the Idris P. Okay. Although I could expect them literally saving that for its own video and not just cramming it in with 3 other ships, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But
But
be the
also,
Idris.
Aegis would be on the same day as Grey Cat, technically
Right,
speaking,
right.
as well.
And then the the third option is it could be a concept ship they're going to talk about and not a flight ready ship. So, because remember, all we've heard about so far are flight ready ships. We have not heard any concept. Now, it would be pretty shocking if we did this Invictus and there was no concept ship.
Yeah.
You know,
look, they always said they were going to never release the F7A. They were never going to release the F8 Lightning, right? But when they are kind of a little bit different because there's not a lot to spoil on those two because they're single seat fighters, right? But they always said they were never going to release the Idris until Squadron 42 was out because it spoiled a lot of things about the internals of the ships and stuff.
Yeah.
But they've done so many tours of the internals of that ship anyway now that I think it's kind of spoiled anyway.
Yeah,
so
I
I
agree.
don't know how to take that anymore. Like, I think it could come or it could not, but you can
I agree.
see both reasons why.
And not only that, I've heard people push back and say, "Oh, server meshing's not ready for it." Firstly, I think it is, but regardless, that's the exact reason why you need to push it out. If we're gonna have capital ships in this game, you need to get some more capital ships in there so that server meshing can start being tuned for those kind of loads. And obviously, I think then you're going to see more impetus put on things like the ship culling and stuff, which we know they are doing. They have been working on that, but like we're going to see more optimizations come on that front. So, yeah.
Do you think that they would do another video on the Idris after they also just showed the Idris tour in this video?
Possibly, because here's the thing, which is interesting. They showed the Idris tour, but I think it was very interesting that they barely mentioned, I mean, they did mention it, but they barely mentioned that it's the Idris P, the Peacekeeper variant. I think they're going to do a video where they talk about the difference between the Idris variants again, because it's been a long time. I mean, we're all assuming the K kit is still mostly intact to what our pledge pages say, but there's a big possibility that there's parts and pieces of that K kit that have changed. You know what I mean? We found, there's the Exodus size 10 laser beam weapon in the code now. Obviously, that missile turret, stuff like that. But people that are going to be buying this ship at the flight ready price, there needs to be an updated video from CIG going through those variants, why they're even variants, what the K kit is, because that's not a usual thing that's even available to the public. Like they need a video. I could see a video dedicated on the Idris, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Can we do a poll? Because if I was streaming, I'd do a poll. So I want Ironclad Idris other. Could we do that on both Twitch and YouTube and just see what I just want to see what people are thinking, and I'm sure they want to kind of weigh in and see what others are thinking as well.
All right, let me get it started here.
Yeah.
So let's see here. So we have the Ironclad, we have the Idris, we have
and just other,
and then we have other. Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I will start the poll on. I'll do a 2-minute poll on Twitch, and I'll start one on YouTube here. So the poll has started on Twitch, and let me do a poll here on ship. Let's see here. Add an option. So here we go. Let me get that set up, everybody.
Interesting.
It's. I'll tell you this. It's going to be an exciting Invictus, and it's going to be the first Invictus that I am here for the entire event. By the way, I'm just going to point that out.
Polls
are going.
The reason why I'm leaning more towards the Ironclad is because we still know that there is the hangar in the files. You've seen the hangar. I've seen the hangar.
Yeah.
That VMXMO pulled out for us, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that there's a new Drake hangar, I can't not think it's the Ironclad. I just can't.
Yeah.
Like, why would you have the hangar there as well?
Yeah.
Unless you're
thank
gonna
you for the follow.
Unless you're gonna smack it out on the last day and then go, oh, by the way, here's the Ironclad.
Yeah. Hermit, thank you for the follow as well. Getting the javelin flying overhead a few times. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think it's very curious. So there's this hangar. For those of you that don't know, we've talked a little bit about it on streams. There was a hangar found in the files, and the name of the hangar is, I think it's Fleet Week Hangar. It's not called Drake Hangar. It's called Fleet Week Hangar. However, in the code, it is a child of the Drake Hall. And when I say, and what VMXEO told me is that the hangar is not directly underneath the hall or anything, like I previously said. The hangar is a child to the Drake Hall. So that means it could be just, there's an elevator floor that instead of going to the Drake Hall, you can take this elevator to this specific hangar. We don't really know, but there is something referred to as the Fleet Week Hangar. And it is an extra large hangar. For those of you unfamiliar, the extra large hangar, I forget the exact metrics, but I think it's close to 280 meters long. You've all probably seen it if you own a Polaris. It is very big.
Well,
you know, it's big enough technically to hold a Kraken. And no, I'm not saying the Kraken's going to be in it. I'm just saying it's that big.
They literally just told us in the video it's going to be one thing that doesn't rotate, but then it's in the files and it's labeled as Fleet Week. Come on, it's so fucking obvious now.
Right.
I have to lean towards the Ironclad because of that hangar, and knowing that hangar's there, it's labeled Fleet Week. It's only for one day because obviously the ship comes out and people are just going to be flying around game. So why do you need the hangar to be there for multiple days if the only thing you're really adding extra is the Ironclad?
Right. Now,
you see what I mean? Like, it's just...
Now, real quick, I'm gonna pull this out. Who was it in chat? ASD Found said at 10 seconds, 9 frames, you can see the fourth ship. But let me switch over. I see what you're talking about. It's over here on the left. That to me,
what was the timestamp again?
10 seconds and 9 frames. I thought that was just a Mantis variant, or the Mantis, really.
10 seconds, 9, but that's at the start. You mean right at the start?
Sorry. 10 minutes, 9 seconds. Sorry. 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
We're going to look at our poll results, everybody. We got on Twitch, we have an overwhelming amount of people saying, or not an overwhelming, the 42% say the Idris on Twitch. Okay. And on YouTube, we have, what do we have here? Let's take a look. Let's go ahead and end the poll. Let's take a look. Interesting. There we have 38% for other, 34% for Ironclad, and 25% for Idris. I think our YouTube people are a little bit more pessimistic on the
that's the Mantis. It's in the hole right now. You can actually walk into the PTU and go look at the Terrapin and the Mantis like right now.
Yeah.
That is all available on the PTU. That's not a new ship.
And I know Soren, you just DM me about that ship too. So Execute is saying that is the Mantis. You can see it in the hall right now. So that will be something, everybody, that will be very easy to be confirmed. But yeah, I'm assuming that I was assuming it when I look at this that it's just the Mantis and we're seeing it at that angle. I know there was some talk about some RSI ships that are moving into concept, and maybe that was mentioned in the PU monthly report. That could very well be happening, but that's not going to be shown off for this event. So
I'm getting told that we aren't zooming in on the right things. I'm being multiple trolled right now by two different CRG employees.
We're not zooming in on the right things. Okay, well,
I do want to talk about the Guardian MX. I think it is the last big mystery left.
Yeah,
exactly what it is. I don't think it's a torpedo thing anymore. If you actually go back through the video, there is a stage where it's shooting guns, so it's still got guns. And it's got these, if you look at that image where it's sitting in the hall where they're all that, where they first walk into the hall, you can see that it's got these kind of grill things up on top as well.
And
I'm wondering if that's where the missiles come out. God,
is it me, or does the cockpit look wider on it, like almost wide enough to hold two people? Kind of does, almost.
I don't know. I will give me a minute. I'm going back through, and I played the whole video at really slow speed, so I don't miss anything.
Yeah, you gotta tell this. You gotta tell the CIG folks we need better clues. We're getting older. We're getting grayer. We can't keep up like we used to.
Yeah, I don't need to tell them. They can hear you. They're watching. They like to just sit there and troll people. That's their job. They're literally sending me troll pictures, one of them is, and just fucking with me. He said you got to use glasses, is what he said.
Oh, okay.
Glasses. Okay. One of them.
This is what happens too when I do impromptu streams. I am very unprepared. So here's what I will say. I said this on my stream the other day. I did a stream on fantasy versus reality, and it was focused on all the really cool imagery and trailers that we get, and sort of analyzing like how accurately that is displaying the gameplay we can expect in Star Citizen 1.0, not now, but in 1.0. And it was kind of an interesting discussion because I'm planning on doing a bigger Starjump Station episode on it. But it's interesting because CIG with some of the stuff that I feel like anytime something lands on the PTU or Evocati and stuff, they know that we're going to see it. There's data miners, all that stuff. They put out the Idris P t-shirt, for example, for subscriber flares. I don't think CIG is in the business of like trying to falsely advertise anything here. So I feel like they're dropping so many hits surrounding the Idris that at this point, if it doesn't land in hangars, it is such an epic troll on the community that it might leave a little bit of a bad taste in people's mouths. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I think this is what they're talking about, zooming in on. I'm going to try and...
What's the timestamp?
No. It's just the, what was it? 10:15.
10:15. All right. Let me
I
go.
I can't zoom in on it. Wait, I'll ask them directly.
Let me go here. 10:15. Oh Lord. So 10:15 for me is the rental terminals.
I did send it to you.
Oh,
I did send it to you.
Oh, thank you.
He said enhance. It looks like it's got a shield. It looks like it's got a shield on it to me, like the Fury. I could be mistaken, but that's what I'm saying.
You sent me an image of the MX, right?
Yeah, that's the MX. So when you come up over the hill and you're kind of looking, that's what I sent. But it's just the MX. And again, if you scroll in and zoom in on it, it looks like it's got guns on either side, like they're missile launchers or something as well. Now I'm looking at it, so it looks like it's a missile quick reloader firer thing from what I can see.
Yeah,
it almost looks like it doesn't have the bottom, the bottom or top wings. I'm trying to figure that out as I look at it.
Yeah, it looks like they're just stacked kind of cleanly, but I can kind of I can't see them.
It's the Yeah, it is the inside of it. I see it now.
Yeah.
And then it's got the grills on the outside for cooling. Yeah, so it's just a quick launcher loader missile variant, and then it's obviously got some normal guns as well.
Yeah, it's
maybe the guns are on the top one and the missiles are on the bottom. I can't quite tell.
Yeah, I can definitely see repeaters on top and bottom here
on
of the nacelles. So that's there. I don't know what the armament of the regular Guardian is, but
where are the guns on the bottom, bro? I see the ones you're talking about on the top, but I don't see them on the bottom. I see missiles on the bottom.
Right here, there I can see the repeater. It's got the little tri-barrel, the little triangle barrel there on both ones. Yeah.
Hang on, I'm coming back to the stream. Hold on.
Yeah, North, we're going to talk about the new armor as well here in just a minute.
So say again, please. Now I'm looking.
You can see the triple barrel of the repeaters there right above the little retro thrusters on the bottom nacelles. You can see the barrel there.
Oh, okay.
Clearly.
Yep.
And people were saying if you zoom in, obviously behind this Guardian, you can see the Asgard back there. That is what the white ship is.
Does that look like a shield to you that kind of goes over the cockpit or something?
It looks like it to me, yeah. To me, it looks pretty wide too, like wider than the regular Guardian.
Yeah, there's something else there that we're not seeing. I don't know what it is, but I just get a feeling we're missing something. Well, the guns just seem so integrated compared to the other one. You know how the other one, they were kind of like mounted under the wing? They're like literally in the wing.
Yeah.
Which is what's so strange.
The real question is, it's hard to tell. These vents could be vents, or it could be a missile launcher worth like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 missiles per nacelle.
Oh, yeah, they are missiles.
Because it looks like holes.
You're right.
So that would be 12, 12. That'd be 24 on the top nacelles. If the bottom ones have duplicates of that, just reverse, that would be 48 missiles.
What's So if you look at the front where the guns are on the bottom right, you can see the thruster that fires forward. But just to the right of that and on the left and right, it's on both the bottom nacelles.
Mm-hmm.
See those two white little tube things? Or they're not tubes, but like little boxes? What the hell are they?
I'm not
They
sure.
aren't on the other variant either. And they're also on the top. Like if you look at the top, you can see the other side of them.
Yeah.
To the right-hand sides of the guns on the right-hand side nacelles, and they're on the left-hand side on the left-hand side.
Yeah, they're interesting. This
So
actually has quite a few
different.
differences. Again, accounting for that silhouette video and how that looks so different. That Guardian looks so different. A lot of people are like, that's not the Guardian. It is. It's just a different, a much, customized variant of it for sure. And someone was saying here, Grim, this is below the K turret. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this video. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of analyzation of this. The stuff I'm missing as we speak. Someone's saying that there is a misspell of Starlancer attack in the hull. That's kind of funny if they did.
Yeah. If you're worried in chat, we're going to go over all of them. I'm just going over this one because someone at CIG said to look at it. So, the other thing is, I think this is the last real mystery left. Like everything else we've kind of worked out.
Yeah.
This is the only one that's kind of eluded us because this has probably been the one they've talked about the least. But there's like look at the little vent things on either side of the cockpit there as well.
Yeah.
Like those little grill things.
Let's see. And someone said at 452. Oh yeah, here's the new Guardian cockpit. I have it up on stream right now. So it looks like you're centered. So definitely not a 2-person cockpit like I was just speculating.
Yeah.
So the other Guardian, it's up top, right? The UI and like the dashboard and everything is like raised up above you. This one,
that looks a lot more like a Scout.
Yeah.
Think about it. Look at the way the vertical lines go from the top to the bottom, and then the split console left and right. That is almost like a dead ringer of the Scout.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, thanks
Could
for that.
Be a collab? Could it be a collab with the Zion? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I mean, to be quite honestly, even these little dashboard elements here, they kind of even remind me a little bit of like the Scorpiuses, if I remember correctly. Is it the Scorpius?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, thanks for pointing this out. That's pretty interesting.
What was the timestamp on that one?
That is 4 minutes 52 seconds.
And I'm gonna have to go through this video and take all these screenshots.
Oh yeah, this is one of those things we're going to have to watch it like 50 times to see everything happening here. Yeah, it's very interesting. You can also see in this image, you can see the barrel, all 4 repeater barrels sticking out here. So again, 4. I'm assuming these are size 4 Panther repeaters, right? That's what those are. So
what it looks like to me.
4 size 4 under pilot control for sure.
The other thing that seems to be different, I don't know if you can see it in that shot, see the thrusters going off on the top?
Yep.
On the other Guardian, they're right at the end of the wings.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually appears to be coming from above.
Yeah, it does. It's really sort of thin. This is a really interesting variant. I almost wonder, you see how these thrusters are almost like sort of like thin and like almost like sort of like integrated on top instead of just like a standard thruster. I almost wonder if this has got some sort of like stealth characteristics versus the other Guardians as well. I don't know.
Definitely something going on there.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
Biggest mystery left, I think, is this ship exactly what it is? Because on like what we're seeing, it seems very similar. Well, instead of having, is it as simple as that? Instead of having the 2 size 5s, it's just 4 size 4s. Is that what it is? If that's the entire thing, that's a bit depressing.
Well,
but it also has missiles.
Here's the thing: if it's 4 size 4 and indeed has that many missiles, okay, and I'll go back to that one image up here. If these vents are actually the missile launcher, which we've seen them do that before, that style, and if you look in there, it's almost like you can see in each vertical strip here, it almost looks like 3 tubes. So that would be 3. That would be total of 48 missiles. So if this thing has 4 size 4s and 48 missiles, this thing is a beast, right?
Yeah, we should explain the MX moniker as well.
Yeah, which would lean more towards overwhelming firepower versus being able to carry something that's really, really big. So yeah, it's a little bit unknown. So.
All right, what do you want to go into next?
Well, the next thing I want to talk about would be this here. Let me find it. Let me go to my screenshots here. Oh, yep, I just.
They're saying S3 and they're saying an S3 in chat. Okay, S3 for S3, so I could see that too.
For the guns.
Yeah,
I thought those were the size 4 repeaters, but I don't know guns like everyone else does. Like the gun size stuff, I don't pay attention to as much. So,
so I was talking to John about this earlier, and he had a little insight, and I kind of agree with him. So you know how you and I were talking about the turret and how it would possibly recess last week?
Yeah.
I reckon the reason that recesses is that the back opens, because we know there's missiles on this, right? So the back opens, and it's like one of those, those Russian trucks you see that fire all the missiles?
Yeah.
So the back opens, and it basically shoots a volley of missiles out the back of it, which is why the turret needs to recess or fold down so the back can open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see that a little bit here. It does almost look like the turret is kind of sitting on a rail. It's a little bit hard to see that, but again, that wouldn't make a lot of sense either. But it would make more sense for the back to open and be more of a some sort of thing. I was looking for decals here.
Well, it gives a gameplay as well, because if you've got the back open, you can use the missiles, but if you have the back open, then you can't have the turret on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've got to choose, and you can be essentially caught with your pants down, which is what I think they're going for there.
I love the look of this vehicle. I love the tires, actually. They killed it on that. That looks great. I was looking for any decals. I don't see anything that would hint at what is going on back here.
Yeah, I want to point out something really large that I've only just noticed, but if you look on the right-hand side of the right wheel of that one that you're on right now, have a look at the right wheel down the very bottom right of the picture. You see that? Or is that just me? Zoom in. That looks like is that a tractor beam? Or am I seeing things?
I don't see a tractor beam.
I could be seeing things. I'm just seeing something that maybe it's a fuel port then. Maybe I'm seeing things.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, if I'm looking at the right thing.
So
what do we think this
is? The round disc looking thing. It might just be the inside of the wheel hub.
I think it's suspension. I think it's like the inside of the wheel hub, or it's like mounted on like a... Yeah, it's kind of like an axle thing. So what do we think this is? We think this is a missile launcher sort of thing then? That's a weird name for it, from Mobile Technical Center. If that is indeed what this thing is called, if that's what indeed the MTC moniker is, which I believe it is, but if that's the case, then it would be weird for it to be called that and be just a missile vehicle, in my opinion. I think there's got to be something more to this. I mean, I guess this is our first Grey Cat vehicle that is combat related in any way, so I'm assuming they'll talk next week, more about that. Why Grey Cat is doing that. So we may hear a little bit about that. That'll be kind of interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to think back to thinking about this this fourth ship or vehicle that they're going to talk to us about. I'm trying to think back to some of the leaks and.
Well, before we go into that,
those leaks up to these vehicles. Sorry, go ahead.
Should we go through the Asgard first, because that's and then we can talk about that one.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to do all of them that we know about first before we go to speculate, if that's okay. Yeah. Just because I can get out of my head.
Yeah.
And then we can clear that out.
So obviously the Asgard.
I think you were pretty much spot on the Asgard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So someone's saying, who was saying it before? I think Waffle Insanity on YouTube was saying that there are 4 size 4 guns for the pilot. I don't know where he pulled that from, but I am struggling with the bottom turret on this one. I can't tell if it's a turret or a remote turret. If it's a remote turret, that would make a lot of sense, because then essentially you could drop the crew on this thing to 2.
Yeah.
1 for the top turret, excuse me, and then the bottom turret, it's just all controlled by the pilot guns.
Yeah.
But also you could also just drop the 2 remote turrets, and then it becomes just a top turret and a bottom turret, which I also think works with this vehicle as well.
Yeah.
But there's a screenshot. I don't know the timestamp. It was in the video, but like it shows you how big that turret is. It's absolutely massive.
Yeah.
I
mean,
I'll get your times.
Ultimately, what this ship looks to be, for me is it looks like a ship where the engines have been moved off to the side. The rear end has been enlarged. The door to the rear end, do I have that screenshot handy? I may not. But the door to the rear end looks bigger than the standard Valkyrie door, but I could be wrong on that. But it looked bigger to me, and thus be able to have more space to bring in bigger vehicles. I'm thinking this is a tank carrier ultimately.
Yeah, I agree, and all the large vehicles, so like a Storm or so 302 in the video.
302 in the video.
Yeah, that clearly shows the turret on this thing. It's massive.
Oops, let me go 302. You said okay. There we go.
Yeah,
there we go. We'll start from here. Yeah, right here on top, right?
Yep. As soon as it goes to that view, that's it. Look how wide that is. That is definitely a missile turret.
Yeah,
which kind of implies like when it's landing, it's essentially firing a whole bunch of missiles to keep things off so you can get the tank unloaded. But by the same token, like in I think it's the very next shot. As you're going along, it kind of pans under. No, it's not the very next shot. Hang on, it is.
We have not seen a turret like that before either. That is new.
I'm just trying to find. There's an actual shot of it flying, and it kind of pans. It might have been beforehand. It is beforehand.
Yeah. Okay. I can see a little bit of a turret up front here. On the bottom, I'm just frozen on it. This is the one I was talking about, everyone, where you can see a little bit of the side door. It does look like there's maybe a side door over here. We definitely that back ramp looks much bigger than the standard Valkyrie to me. It essentially looks like it got a really fat ass applied to it.
Well, the other thing is, if you look at the Valkyrie, there is a drop down section there. That drop down section is almost completely disappeared. So they've definitely lowered the floor, so to speak. And obviously, the other thing is, if you go back to that, where you had the big turret on top, that sequence, if you let that play really slowly, on the bottom right and left hand sides where the landing gear would be, they've essentially moved the landing gear to the outside of the ship. You can kind of see there's this kind of like these triangular kind of runs along the outside. It's kind of hard to explain until you see it. But again, back at 302 is where I'm talking about. And then if you play it till it gets to about I first start seeing them about 304. You can see that there's this angled thing coming out where the landing gear would go in.
Gotcha. Okay, here's that shot. Yeah, you can see this angled piece here that Execute's talking about. It's almost got the little like caution striping on it as well.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So I assume that they've moved the landing gear from inside the ship to outside the ship, which allowed them to widen it.
Yeah.
Which means you can now fit the tank in as well as the height.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm not sure of left on this is the bottom turret. Is it a remote turret? Is it still manned? Is it pilot controlled? Because you just can't see.
From the image I saw, it looked too small or the center area where someone would sit looked too small to be a man turret.
Yeah, but I also see a reflection of glass. Where, when they first come into the hall, they take that shot.
Yeah.
One of the very first shots you sent me today, that shot, you can see the turret in that shot, and it's just so dark you can't quite make it out. It's kind of annoying. It's the only thing that I think that's kind of left on this one. But, I don't know. I think I don't.
Someone in chat said that this could be an interesting little snub fighter carrier. Yeah, it could be, depending on how big that door is. That'll be interesting to see. Yeah, absolutely be interesting.
I would say it's a lot more tailored at ground though, with the way the missiles work, and I'd almost expect those missiles to be dumbfire. I don't like every missile turret that we're aware of. They don't. There is a couple that fire turrets.
So they're saying 950. Tiberist is saying 950 for the bottom turret. Let's go here.
950, Roger.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, Starlancer attack.
That's what I was. Yeah. He's talking about the screenshot I was talking about.
Cool. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, but you just can't quite make it out in the dark. But if we went into Photoshop and put some contrast, see the little white sheen that you've got there? It looks like it's a bit of glass to me, but I could be seeing shit that I can't see.
It could be manned, actually. Yeah, it could be manned. It's a little hard.
So my thinking was, you've got the turret on the top and bottom that already have those rooms there, so it's less work to remove those. But we know the remote side turrets have already gone.
Yeah, thank you,
Mac. So because then. There's no guns there. So you get rid of those areas and put your components in there instead.
Yeah.
And then basically you just leave the turrets in, because this has probably still got a room. You know how there was the 2 rooms that hold 10 people?
Mm-hmm.
If you do the math, I could be wrong here, but I went through and I basically was looking at all the large vehicles, and I think it's one of the variants of the Atlas can hold up to 8 people.
Yeah.
Right. So if that's the case, you just shorten both those rooms to be 4 people long, and then it can hold any large vehicle's crew.
And this thing could definitely carry some Atlases. And yeah, up top here, you do see another turret.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's poked underneath the shield, like the armor plating. You see that? That's interesting.
Okay.
Because the gun looks
did
like
not
it's
see
going
that
underneath
before.
it. Also, another thing here is these back landing gears look awfully strange to me. I wonder if
That would
that's because
explain
that's that
the-
new side sort of
Yeah.
side landing gear you're talking about, but I don't remember seeing those
Yeah.
on the old Valkyrie like at all. That's definitely
Yeah.
new.
Maybe that's what those extra guns are that Waffle was talking about. So they have the 2 on the chin and the 2 above, and then the 2 turrets are still both actual turrets.
Yeah.
So they've moved them off the side wings that were remote turrets and essentially made them fixed.
That's what seems like it happened. So yeah, yep.
Yeah, this is kind of one of the last things for me, and I'll put this to you, and I'll put it to people in chat as well.
Yeah.
Knowing that it costs $375 for a Valkyrie, and that you can get a Hercules for $400, and you can get an M2 for about $100 more than that. I'd have to go look at the price.
Yeah.
Why the hell would you pay this amount for this? If you're paying roughly $375 for one that carries 1, and for $25 you can get a C2 that carries 2, and the M2 though is also armored, right? So I just don't see why you wouldn't spend the extra and get the M2.
Right. I'm struggling with that too. I mean, that's assuming that this is more expensive than the Valkyrie, right? It could be less. I mean, I've always thought the Valkyrie was overpriced. I think you agree with that, right?
Yeah.
So what if this came in a decent amount under? Because I feel like dropships always have the dropship tax applied to them anyway. So if this is essentially just a vehicle transporter that's upgunned a little bit,
the reason for that is that their gameplay is already in, and they're straight to flyable.
Right.
That's why their price is already straight up. Right.
Yep.
The Valkyrie kind of came out flight ready. This is coming out flight ready. So there's none of that waiting period, and that's why they do it, because they can just charge more from the get go.
Yeah.
And
It's
the same thing with all combat ships as well. That's why they seem more expensive, because they can just be used straight away. Because their gameplay is in.
This is interesting. I mean, so this is going to be right away for Invictus. This is something that we saw at last IAE, actually. It was something I commented on one of my streams, that the last IAE, I think, was the most flight-ready ships we've seen in one event. I mean, this is actually slightly less. I think they had 5 on the last IAE. But, I mean, this is still a lot of flight-ready vehicles coming to us in one event. Are we expecting this to sort of be the norm now, where these events, where before it felt like you get maybe 1 or 2 flight readies and then a concept, are we now moving in this phase where we're getting like 4 flight readies and possibly a concept?
Yeah.
Or maybe there'll be no concept ship.
Well, I think they're spreading them out more, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to pile them all into the sales. I think we're on that cadence of like 1 a month.
Yeah.
And as I said to you before, like I backtracked it. Once we get to August, that has been because August was the first one they brought out, and then every month after that we've had one.
Yeah. I agree. Beam Saber, thank you for the subscription, and Atlantis, thank you for the follow. I mean, obviously there is a lot to go over here with this thing. I'm sure you'll be covering it. I know Paul is going to cover it this weekend. I'll probably be covering again. So we're going to have a lot of coverage. Obviously, next week we'll get our final info dump on the other 4 ships. And that'll answer one of our big question marks.
If you actually watch the video again, he says 2 1 week, 2 the next.
Oh, okay. 2 1. Do we still have 2 weeks left till Invictus?
Well,
it's 1 week.
No, it's not 2 weeks to Invictus. So Invictus starts on the 15th, which is the next Thursday.
Yeah.
And then so there'll be a video then, and then there'll be a video on the 22nd
during Invictus. Gotcha.
Yeah, and I'd be really surprised if that's where we don't hear what the fall ship is.
Interesting. Or let me say. Well, see, here's the thing. See, I was about to make a mistake. I was about to do that. Well, Anvil Day is not till at the end, but I forgot they're going to have all the ships on the show floor now. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Ironclad because you do the math of where the ships are coming out. They kind of talked about the Idris tour a bit here today, and I honestly think that's why Aegis is on the first day.
Yeah.
You've got the ship tour, you've got the grey cat that drops bang. Then you have the next one that's empty. The next one you're getting the mist stuff. So you get the Guardian, and you get the fucking tack, and then on the last one you get the Asgard. That, if you do the math, we already know about the tack. So right, so what are we going to get in next week's video? It's really obvious. Next week's video is the grey cat.
Yeah, he specifically said the other four.
Guardian.
Yeah, he specifically said the other 4 vehicles, not including the
Well, the tack doesn't count. They've already done a video on it.
Exactly.
Right? So you do the math. It'll be, as I said, grey cat and the Guardian next week.
Yeah.
Right. And then the week after that, it'll be the Asgard and whatever the fourth one is.
So Mystery Derp, which is a great name, or Mr. Derp is a great name, by the way. It says, Jared's tweeted today that all the ships releasing this ILW were shown in today's video. If that is the case, let's assume that is true. Then
why did he say 4 vehicles?
Well, it still could mean that the Idris is the 4th, because the Idris was shown multiple times. You know what I mean? It could be the Asgard. It could be the Asgard, Guardian, Grey Cat, and Idris.
Yeah. Yeah, but by the same token, there's a whole hangar of the Drake hangar that are in the files that's been updated and stuff like that. So why the hell's that there?
Yeah. We'll have to see.
I think they're fucking with us. To be honest with you, they love us talking about this shit because it's free publicity.
Or the detail could be in the words. Maybe he meant releasing 4 Invictus. And maybe the Ironclad is technically releasing 4 Drake Defense Con. We don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, they could. The detail could be.
I
in the
know they're
wording.
trolling. The number of. I'm getting messaged again. Here we go. Wait, here we go. I'll tell you what he says. It's like a number of troll pictures I'm being sent is ridiculous. He's probably sitting there with his popcorn machine, popping them in. Hope you freaking choke, you son of a bitch. Anyway,
Make sure you give the channel a follow, everyone. If you like the content, you like talking about spaceships, make sure you give me a follow. Appreciate that. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, all that kind of good stuff. I do appreciate it.
Look, I think we'll agree that it's Idris or Ironclad, and we'll just leave it at that. I think everyone on chat will kind of agree with us on that. Let's not bicker over it.
Another thing that has sort of come out is this thing here, the Atlas IKT-1. I'm assuming this is legit, by the way. Everyone's saying it is. Which is the armed mech suit. No big surprise here. Honestly, we've talked about this at length on previous streams. Obviously, the model was found in the file. Sans guns, by the way. And now looking at this, I can see why, because there's a little bit different integration in terms of how the guns are mounted onto the mech at this point. If they sell this, it'll sell like hotcakes.
Is this updated? Or is this the same one from?
It does look a little updated to how the guns are integrated and attached to the arms, but I need to go back and review some stuff to be certain of that. The only thing I would say is if this is sold, it'll sell like hotcakes. Now, people are saying you can earn this through Wicklow now in 4.1.1. If it's only earnable through Wicklow, you're about to see Wicklow visited very heavily.
Because the other, I'm going to send you another pic. It's one I sent you.
Although I don't think CIG would miss out on the opportunity to sell this.
So open that, because this is relevant. I just sent you an image. It'll be there in a second.
Yeah.
I think that's relevant to this discussion, and you tell me if you think it's not once you look at it.
Yeah.
But I think there's some serious foreshadowing in that.
Oh yeah. Some serious foreshadowing. I mean, again, it says ground combat hull. and
they're not ground combat. They are that's the Geo,
right? And
the Atlas isn't it either. So, is that another Titan suit coming, or does the Atlas you just chuck guns on it and all of a sudden it can shoot shit?
Yeah. I mean, and then we'll have to ask those questions like, what is on this mech. Can it do the jumps? Can it fly? Who knows what it can do? So,
the last time I looked at it, had no backpack at all, which means it can't do anything.
Right. I saw that as well. But I would assume they'd throw a backpack on it just for ammo purposes, but maybe the ammo's stored in the arms or something. I don't know.
First time I saw it, I thought you wouldn't do it as lasers. You do it as ballistic, so you could have those massive, huge freaking belts like the one on the Matrix.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, I modeled something that looked very similar to that on our. We did an old station on Titan suits.
I watched.
And it was very much like that. So yeah, I mean, again, it's going to be an exciting Invictus. There's obviously a lot to go through. I'm sure we're going to find more and more surprises to this. There was some additional updates in the what do you call it, the PU monthly report, the Star Citizen monthly report the other day. They talked about finalizing 3 ships for Invictus launch week and this is the way they phrased it. It was like finalized 3 ships, but then also completed the TAC. So again, there's your 4 ships, right? So again, that could be Guardian, Asgard, Greycat, and the TAC. Okay. Those are those 4. And then there was progress on 4 unannounced vehicles moving through white box, gray box, and the concept phases. And then they talked a little bit more, and I appreciate that they're doing this actually, because as an owner of this ship, I do want to know more about its continued development. They talked a lot more about the Pioneer and just its progress through white box. If I had to guess, by the way, I know a lot of people have wondered when the Pioneer will come out. I think the Pioneer, the soonest it would ever release, by the way, is end of next year and possibly beyond. And you can sort of tell that in their discussions on the Pioneer because they keep talking about how they're refactoring the flow of the ship in white box. So
technically, it would be Invictus next year. You add where they said it was going into production next week after CitizenCon, and then you got to add 18 months minimum because of the ship pipeline. That pops up around Invictus next year, and I think it'll be the same. By the way, I think we'll be getting the Paladin at Invictus next year.
I agree. I think I just think that the Pioneer is going to be one of the most complicated ships they've ever made. Probably right up there with ships like the Hull C and stuff, where there's a lot of new tech in it, fabrications machines, fabrication hangars, landing gear, ground extractors, all this stuff. So it's going to spend an appropriate amount of time in the white box, but if you're a fan of the Pioneer like me, it means it's going to be an awesome ship when it comes out.
You do really need it for 1.0 though. Like you can't really do any of the space station stuff without it. Like it's kind of a required 1.0.
100%, because here's the thing. This is what CIG will have to wrestle with a little bit with 1.0, is that they, this is unlike other games where the game may have been in a beta testing phase, a closed invite only beta phase for a year or two before the game. This game, people have sort of been playing it in their minds for a long time now. And there's already orgs like Test Squadron and others that are thousands upon thousands of members big. When 1.0 comes out, there will be people doing the end game on day one because they've already built massive structures to get to the end game. So yes, I agree. We're going to need the Pioneer and probably other end game ships. Kind of on day one. I could see a need, for example, for the whole D at the very least. Maybe not the E, but the D for sure.
I think we're getting a lot more base builders as the game goes along. Mystic Derp in Twitch says they mentioned the Pioneer will not launch with initial base building. That is absolutely correct. The initial ship you'll be getting is the build. But then before 1.0, they've also said they want to have those player stations. Right. So basically, that means the Pioneer is going to be there because the Pioneer is the only thing that can build the thing that starts the space stations. You also want to be able to have all that org. You want to have all that org play, and you need the Pioneer to pull that off because trying to build a massive base with a build's going to be a bit of an ask, I think.
So let's theorycraft for a minute here. Let's say that the Ironclad is not coming for Invictus. Let's just say that. And let's say that something you said on one of your streams is actually what's going to play out. Because I just watched one of your streams the other day, and I think you'd mentioned that what also could happen is the Ironclad could come out for CitizenCon and Perseus for IAE, because we still have 2 big events towards the end of the year. if that's the case, do you feel that what do you have any more predictions on what could come later in the year along with the Ironclad, or is it too early to tell on that?
No, I think the only ones you can kind of really safely predict are the big ones.
Yeah.
I think the other one that I would give is, the Sinu ship, the one that Trispone called the Frontier.
Yeah.
I think that's very obviously CitizenCon, because that's where we've seen the credence of the medium ships. It's become a staple at the moment. It's the same thing where you see at the AIE, the first ship they always sell is a starter ship.
Well,
and that starter ship would be Intrepid variants.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean, because the Ironclad and Perseus are going to occupy those large ship slots for those two events. So those other ships that will be coming will probably be on the smaller side. There'll be mediums, there'll be the smalls, the extra smalls, whatever. So the starter packs, etc. I do hope we get that other Sea-Now ship. I would love to see some additional consolidated stuff.
Yeah, I think there'll be a Titan suit in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe September, like it was last year with the Atlas.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that you think about is they have that Atlas variant on the blue silhouettes. I think that would be IAE. That'll be the vehicle for IAE. If you think back to the other variants like the Centurion and the Spartan and the Ballista, they did have those come out at Invictus and AIE. So I think there's room there for that to happen as well.
Yep.
They try to have one vehicle at each sale. We've got the Grey Cat at this one, so it makes sense that there's only one left on the blue silhouette.
Yeah.
But it's probably most likely AIE. That's not to say we can't have the vehicles coming out every month.
Yeah.
In one of those things, how they've been coming out lately. Yeah.
I think the Paladin I think can be a great fit for end of year. We'll see.
See, the reason
I think it's maybe a little too soon though.
I think they started out with this, right? Because you got to go 18 months back, right? So 18 months back would have been not CitizenCon or IAE, but the year before.
Yeah.
Right? And I reckon halfway through the development, they realized that they could also make a variant of it that could be a new gunship.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's when, if you go back and look at the Paladin, there was no 3D in those concept images. They were all hand drawn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, which told me it was really early in development, or at least earlier in development. You then add where that concept sale was, you add exactly 18 months. That's Invictus next year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Michael Phillips says, when do you see the Apollo coming? I don't see it coming for end of year, only because the latest monthly report they talked about, as a matter of fact, do I have it up here? They say specifically the RSA Apollo progressed through pre-production and gray box phases, and they specifically mentioned they were refactoring the Apollo's medical room. So they're still very much, and with the Apollo, they're still very much into we're redoing some internals of the ship. Like they're not, you know what I mean? They're just not there yet. But what I do think will happen with the Apollo is that they're going to release that alongside a tier 2 implementation, or wherever we're at with that, of medical gameplay. We're going to see, I think we're going to see the next version of medical gameplay.
I don't know where you're going with that in my brain.
Actor status tier 2, essentially, which before the progress tracker was not updated anymore. The actor status tier 2 was in development, it was almost done. So now
a simple way of looking at it though is it requires a drone. Because of the Shepard drone, so it clearly has to come at or after tier 0 of base building, essentially, right? I would have hoped, before those delays were mentioned and all that, and again, we don't kind of exactly know when this thing started production. I would say at the absolute best, it would have been the the December ship.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you got the Mole, the Santoki Eye, you got the Guardian in December. That's where I would have put the Apollo. But with the delays in that it looks like it's having there, it might knock it back to next year.
Yeah.
So
I
have to kind of wait and see on that one. But I think we could definitely have to say it's got to be after the build, and hopefully the build's this year.
Yeah. And the build is the only one that I thought for sure that I actually don't. The build is a ship that I think will definitely not be this year, because I just don't see base building coming on board this year, because I think we still need crafting and resource management before that. So I would love. I mean, I could be wrong, but I would love to see resource management come in first.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I would hope for the build at CitizenCon. That's what I'm kind of hopeful for, because again, you get max, tack, and then build 6 months apart.
Yeah,
but
it's just the build is so held up by multiple gameplay things. Not only base building, but drones. We haven't even seen our first drone ship in the game yet. You think that you do? Do you think the build will be the first drone ship? See, I think it'll be the CSV FM. I think it's going to be that little small ground vehicle. I
think you'll probably find them both at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, you could be right. Real quick, everyone, we still have, again, a lot of stuff possibly coming. And I am Praise calling you out in chat. Keep saying it was 3D for the Paladin. I have to go back and look. I think it was a 3D model, though, right? Concept model?
There was a hologram model, but I don't remember. Like all the pictures I zoomed in and look on, they're all hand drawn.
Yeah. Now I will point out, just so everyone knows too, Mr. Derp, thank you for the follow. I was just about to call out. If you want to follow the channel, everyone, please do that. I really appreciate it. One thing that does happen in 3D, by the way, a lot of times is that sometimes 3D concept models are rendered, yes, and then they are painted over a little bit. So sometimes a little bit of both is happening. So. Okay, everyone, I've got to get ready to go pick up my daughter. She's getting her braces off today, so it's a big day for her. She's very excited. It's been fun doing this with you all. Had a ton of people hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I'm going to do one more call out, everybody. Don't forget, if you're over on YouTube, the Tiltify link at the top of the YouTube chat is for our St. Jude Guardians donation page. I just put it in Twitch as well there via Stream Elements. We've raised $14,670 so far for the month of April and a little bit of May here. $31,000 total. Thank you for the subscription, Nugu. Appreciate that. We've raised a ton of money. We got some raffles going on right now. I'm going to switch over that to show everybody, just so you're aware. We have 3 raffles going on. The first 2 have already been given away. Aegis Gladius Valiant will give away tomorrow. That's a $10 donation via our Tiltify link. We have an Anvil Carrick with LTI. That is a $50 donation via our Tiltify link. That one's given away on May 15th. When you do the $50 donation, by the way, it's giving you a raffle ticket for that ship. And then on May 30th, for a $100 donation to St. Jude Tiltify, or to our St. Jude Tiltify link, we have an RSI Polaris Corvette with LTI. Want to make sure you get on those if you can. We do appreciate the donations. All the kids at St. Jude really appreciate them. Thank you very much for all that support. I do got to go pick up my daughter, though, so we're going to raid somebody here, and we're going to raid. Quick, yes, go ahead.
Real quick, I just went back over all the paladins. So they've essentially taken that hologram model and they've essentially made it white and put it in different positions, and then had someone draw across the top. Exactly what you were saying. I went back through all of them again. They're all hand drawn.
Yeah,
you can see if you zoom in, you can see the blurred edges and the mouse and stuff.
Yeah, the drawing over sometimes does happen. That is not uncommon. That is not uncommon.
Yeah.
So yes, here we go, everybody. I'm going to send you over to bear with me, chat. Gonna send you over to I can't find my stuff. We're gonna send you over to Expat Brat. Make sure you give Expat a little bit of that Starjump love. Focus just donated $10. Thank you very much, Focus. Appreciate it. Going to send you over to Expat. Please give her some Starjump love. EXE or Execute. Thanks for hanging out and chatting ships. I'm sure we'll do it again this weekend because there's a lot of stuff to cover.
Yep.
Everyone, have a great rest of your day. Do something kind for a stranger. Thanks for hanging out. I will be doing some additional streaming this weekend, I think, playing Star Citizen, which I haven't done in a while, so that'll be a lot of fun. Everyone, have a great day. Take it easy. Thank you for that follow, Krista. Appreciate it.